Let's take a look at the running back room notes from week 9. I'll take a look at the running back, the snap percentage, the total touches, and the fantasy points scored. For Arizona, James Conner returned from injury and took 71% of the snaps straight away. Patterson also returned to action for the Falcons. He was at 39%, but he did lead the running back room in total touches and fantasy points. Kenyon Drake was the Baltimore Ravens running back 1 with both Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins out of the mix. Tons of touches in this one. He had a great fantasy week with 24.9. Devin Singletary, 74% of the snaps for Buffalo. Nobody really had a good day for their backfield. Deonta Foreman for the Carolina Panthers had the highest snap percentage. He had the most touches, but he was the least fantasy productive. Then for Chicago, we had David Montgomery seeing 70% of the snaps, and he had more than double Khalil Herbert's total touches, unproductively. Joe Mixon broke fantasy this weekend with 55.1 total fantasy points. Jamal Williams was the leader for the Detroit Lions with 24 touches on 61% of the snaps. Aaron Jones got banged up for Green Bay, so A.J. Dillon commanded 66% of the snaps. Really unproductive, though. Dameon Pierce continues to be the workhorse for the Houston Texans. He had 78% of the snaps, 27 touches. Okay fantasy day. No Jonathan Taylor meant Jordan Wilkins and Deion Jackson being in the mix for the Colts and doing not much. 30 total touches for Travis Etienne, 26.6 fantasy points, 81% of the snaps. All great signs. Kansas City continues to be disgusting for their backfield. They have 3 guys getting touches. None of them was that great. Can't really trust any of them. Austin Eckler, 68% of the snaps, 21 touches, 23.1 fantasy points. A good day for him. Looks like Spiller's beating out Michelle. Darrell Henderson led the Rams with 49% of the snaps, 12 touches for him. None of these guys were that great either. Josh Jacobs with a cool 69% of the snaps, 20 touches, 11.7 fantasy points was a down week for him. In Jeff Wilson's first game as a Dolphin, he had a higher snap percentage and more total touches and more fantasy points than Raheem Mostert. Dalvin Cook with a high 86% of the snaps. Ramondre Stevenson with no Damian Harris, 73% of the snaps, 16 fantasy points. Another great day for him. Alvin Kamara, a ton of the snaps, 88%. Not a good fantasy week, though. Have a committee with the Jets, Michael Carter and James Robinson, pretty close in total touches and fantasy points. Kenny Gainwell had a decent day behind Miles Sanders for the Eagles. Workhorse numbers for Ken Walker, 77% of the snaps, 29 total touches, 27.9 fantasy points. The guy's a dog. Keep an eye on Tampa Bay. Leonard Fournette and Rachaad White might have a difference in snap percentage, but the touches are pretty close. Derrick Henry, one of the only guys you can trust for the Titans right now, had a typical day. And I probably jumbled some of those, but follow for more. Check out the page.